The Mighty Whites podcast is recorded at the Medicine Room Studios. For more information, visit medicineroomstudios.com.
Well, it's a new season, lads. Episode 26 of the podcast. We've got a fair bit of pre-season to get through, and I've just rushed back having seen the game.
I've just woken up having not seen the game.
Yep. There's the problem with the time difference. He might wake up early for a normal game, but he's not gonna for pre-season. Just the two of us today, joined by Casey. You all right?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Glad to be back for what I'm christening Mighty Whites podcast season 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Well, hopefully we don't flop as much as that film franchise did. Basically, we'll go through the friendlies first. I don't know how much of it you've actually seen, Casey, with the various time differences and work and Americanness.
I've pretty much seen goals here and there from just going through Twitter, but I haven't seen a whole lot. The thing that's mostly surprised me has been looking at the teams we've been putting out for a lot of these games. Been very mixed.
Yeah, mixed about sums it up, especially when it comes to the centre-backs.
Yeah, especially with Kyle Bartley not coming in. So, bad work from Leeds. Clearly not enough effort made from Luke Ayling to convince Radrizzani or Bielsa to bring him in. But yeah, it has been interesting seeing a few of the midfielders dropping into central defence as you kind of said they would, and seeing which ones were given a go. Yeah,
when you look at a squad now, I still can't get my head around us not getting Bartley, to be honest.
There's a lot of players I can't understand as not bringing in, and obviously we're kind of looking at one or two potential deals still going on, but it's worrying how late we've left it to get to this point.
Yeah, but we'll come on to transfers and stuff after, because it'll probably be the bit that takes the longest. First friendly, won 2-1 at Forest Green. Roof with a goal from a corner, and Luke Ayling with his first goal of pre-season, which was a really good goal, actually. It was pretty good football, and Roof held the ball well, played it into Ayling's path, good left foot finish.
Who needs a new striker when you've got Luke Ayling?
Yeah, he's basically the new man in form. It really does, because I thought at the end of last season that Ayling would end up playing centre-back, and having looked at the way he's been, all it's done is make him even more effective out on the right. Yeah,
he's I mean, we all knew, from pretty much the first few weeks of him coming into us a couple of years ago, how good he is down the wing. And you can kind of see why, especially with the squad we have at the moment, why you probably want to take that away, and with us not keeping Coyle around as well for another season. I think it kind of makes sense to keep him as a right wing back, and he's someone who's never afraid to go forward. And it's great to see him getting a couple of goals through pre-season as well.
Yeah, and we'll probably get more detailed as we go through the friendlies as they get more recent. Obviously, Forest Green's goal in that was a pretty decent strike from distance that Peacock Farrell probably should have saved. Then they drew 1-1 away at York. Sam Dolby got the goal. First half of this were awful. I did manage to see this one. Second half was an improvement. One of the standouts in this game was #Click News.
Yeah, he might actually get a game this season.
I think I'd be starting him opening day, especially now with the news that because you've just woke up. Actually, you might not have seen it. Have you seen Adam Forshaw's pot?
I have seen the terrible news.
Yeah, Forshaw's injured, so I could see him getting a game. But yeah, Sam Dolby on the rebound after Click hit bar. But yeah, Click played centre-back in the first half and did okay, and then he moved into midfield and played pretty well.
Well, these were the two games that were brought about because of the Evanston and Stephen transfers, weren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think I saw Edmondson tweeting afterwards. It must be quite a nice moment for him.
Yeah, he was tweeting about how it was nice to be back. It's weird that we've played 6 friendlies, but over 2 weeks.
I was thinking that they're very cramped together.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's a good way to prepare for the championship season being quite hectic.
Yeah, it was. As we'll get on to, it's been interesting seeing the way the squad has moved around for these games. I think today's game has probably been the only one when you've looked and gone, okay, that looks like a championship team.
Yeah, it looked closer anyway. Yeah, third one, another 1-1 draw, this time away at Southend. Their goal was they swung a corner in and no one marked Lennon. They had about 3 unmarked actually, it just happened to land on his head. Another one where they improved, but the goal in this was another good goal. Ayling getting ball at right back, cutting in field, beating a man, playing a 1-2, ending up in the centre forward spot and curling one in from outside the box. And at this point, we were starting to carve his name into the Ballon d'Or trophy.
Yeah, who needs to spend $7 million on a striker?
Us. We do. Who rigs every Oscar night? We do.
Yeah, again, that is one of the goals that I did get to see, actually. Nice play. It's very odd seeing Luke Ayling popping up in those positions, but, hopefully he's been given a bit more license to roam when he goes forward, and if he can get us a couple of goals a season. I think we said before, he's not afraid to hit one. So yeah, if he's going to be given a little bit more freedom on the wing, then if he can pop up with a couple of extra goals this season, I don't think we're going to complain.
Yeah. Then we came to the 2 friendlies that I thought were going to... The ones that made me think, right, we are going to just be the entertainers of this league. The first one, Oxford 4, Leeds 3. 3-0 down at half-time. Now, admittedly, with the team we put out compared to the team Oxford put out, Oxford were favourites for this game.
Yeah.
But that first half performance was just absolutely shite. There's no way around it. The goals that they conceded were so soft, particularly the first one, just giving ball away on edge. And it's done no favours to the centre-back hopes of Hugo Diaz and Oriol Ray.
Yeah.
In that first half, they looked like children.
And their manager was complaining about the team we put out as well. I'm guessing you're having Leeds for a friendly, you're hoping for something a bit more competitive. And again, you look at that team, it was quite nice to see Tyler Roberts getting more involved now. And there was something in my head where clearly I thought I'd seen something about us trying to loan him out for the season, and then apparently not. I must have made something up. In my head, I thought, sure, we'd loaned him out to a League One club. No.
Well, I think that your tired, confused brain at the time might have been mixing up Tyler Roberts with Tyler Denton.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's every chance.
But the second half of this game was a lot better. So we pulled it back to 4-3, 3-1 in that half. Tyler Roberts' goal was a really good goal. Far left-hand corner of the penalty area, curled in, top right corner in off post. Lewis Baker got his first goal as well. It was a good pace and cross getting in behind from Jamie Shackleton, who's been playing as a right wing-back a lot, considering he's a centre mid. But what I've seen of Shackleton, I'm very, very impressed.
The stuff I was reading on Twitter about him in this game was that a lot of people were impressed with him.
Yeah, even in first half when we were crappy, was one of the better ones.
Again, hopefully you look at the combination of the system we're probably going to be playing this season, combined with the scheduling of the championship, and you got to think players like him, there's a chance he's always going to get a game. I mean, we don't have much depth in the way of wingers. Someone like him, if he puts in a few decent performances in the under-23s, could find himself involved, when needed.
Yeah, and that goes for, on the other side as well, the other player that scored in this game, Jack Clark, getting his first of 2 goals in pre-season. He's another one who's looked very impressive. And it's a winger that is willing to run at a player and beat him, which is what Alioski used to do, but seems to refuse to do now.
It's what he was doing a lot last season for the under-23s and the under-18s, wasn't it? Just cutting inside from the left wing and curling them. It was basically like a FIFA 12 strategy. Cut inside, hold R1, curl it in the top corner. yeah, it's good that he's doing that against against better opposition now, and against someone who I am quite surprised last season he didn't get more of a chance. I think he was one of those players we were looking at thinking, okay, he'll probably get 4 or 5 games in before the end of the season. It just never really ended up happening. But yeah, sorry, I can't get my words out now. You can tell I've just woken up.
Yeah.
But if he can again provide an option of someone, especially something a little bit different, just having someone who's going to cut inside and take the shot instead of trying to hit the byline, then he should be in and around the squad.
Yeah, I mean, he does look a little bit lightweight and stuff, but he definitely, I think it won't be far off the squad. It wouldn't shock me if he's on bench against Stoke.
Yeah, it was very interesting as we'll come on to with the friendly today, looking at the subs bench. There's definitely a gulf there between the starting lineup and the subs. I know we're missing a couple of players, but it's it left a lot to be desired at our subs bench.
Yeah. Well, then the second 4-3, 4-3 win away at Guiseley. Another shocking start. 2-0 down. Hugo Diaz and Lawrence de Bock, the centre-back pairing, this time getting bashed about by Paul Clayton. Both at first 2 goals, long balls up to him that just weren't dealt with even slightly. And on first goal, Blackman wasn't particularly great either. He came running out and just didn't get anywhere near it. But the thing is, by the time their second goal came around, Leeds had started to get a foot on ball. The second one was kind of against run of play a little bit.
Yeah.
But got one back before half-time. Click news. Yeah, it was a really good goal as well.
He's doing it. He's the man.
Yeah.
He's it's so strange now. You look at how much he's one of the few players that's featured more regularly through pre-season. And it's looking to get to a point now where he, like you say, he'll probably be involved at the start of the season, which just begs the question why he never got that chance last season when we had so many midfielders.
Shagging TC's wife, I believe.
He looks quality from what I've seen. And the loan spell that he had last season kind of proved that he's definitely got something. And it's just very frustrating after, you looked at Phillips and Vieira and O'Kane and those guys been out of form for a good chunk of last season, just that he never got that go.
Yeah. But after that, in second half, to be honest, even though Guiseley did score, Leeds looked pretty... I know it's only Guiseley, but we did look pretty good in that half. Like, Jack Clark scored after about 5 minutes of the half, but it was Leeds' third or fourth decent chance of the half already. When that goal was really good. Yeah, Clark got ball on left, cut inside, beat 2, played it out to right. Jordan Stevens, did a little shimmy, played it back to Shackleton. Shackleton inside, and Clark's in middle now, and a really good finish across keeper. It was a really good goal, and it was really good to see 3 of the really young kids combining.
Yeah. That's one of the things where I think through the last few pre-seasons that I really remember, you tend to not seeing the youngsters involved so much. It would more just be a kind of a mix of your first team squad and then a load of subs at half time. But most games we've kind of only named 5 or 6 subs. We've not really named a big subs bench for any of the games. So I suppose it's probably been good for the likes of, it's been good for Clark and Stevens and Shackleton, players like that, to get that extra game time anyway, with a number of first team players around them.
Yeah, it seems to treat them a bit differently, don't they, to everyone else, Bielsa? Giving people 90 minutes.
I was very surprised, because even for the Forest Green game, when you looked at the bench, and that, I'm pretty sure we only had 5 or 6 subs for that, and you were looking like, okay, so we got Miyazek on the bench, and I know there's been a few players playing with the under 23s, but there's not many of the players have racked up that much game time over there. So I don't know if it's because of how heavily they've been focusing on fitness through pre-season. He's looked and thought we probably don't need to be, getting them through 90 minutes 3 or 4 times in pre-season. But it'll be interesting to see how we start the season now with the teams we've been putting out and the game time these guys have been getting.
Yeah, the other 2 goals in that game were for Ryan Edmondson, who I think it's fair to say has got himself above Sam Dolby in the first team reckoning by this point, which is obviously it's good for him. I still think Dolby looks decent, but yeah, we'll see. One of the things in this Geisley game actually that was a bit frustrating is Lewis Baker could have had about 5 if he'd had his shooting boots on.
I was keeping up with your tweets through the game, and I think.
So did someone just like attack a giant crisp there behind you?
Oh, sorry, I don't know. Jacqueline is currently preparing breakfast.
Oh, right, cool. I say it don't matter. It was really weird. The sound came through a bit odd. No,
but yeah, it's where's Baker been playing?
Baker's been playing as like the advanced centre mid. He played on the right at times today because Hernandez moved inside.
Hernandez is someone who really hasn't. Saiz, to be fair, neither one of them has really featured all that much.
No, Hernandez, I think, must have had a knock because he missed a really lot. Saiz, to be honest, he just hasn't played very well through pre-season, as much as all. And same today. Which, speaking of today, which KC won't have seen any of because he has literally been awake about, less than an hour. Leeds won, Las Palmas 0. This was the first game where it was... The thing that was different with today was it was a bit like... it was more like a league game. There seemed to be a bit more intensity defensively, even though we... It sounds weird to say we didn't defend amazingly well, but we defended well enough. We kept a clean sheet. After the 2-4-3s, it's the last thing I expected was a 1-0 with a 86-minute goal. Like in first half, I don't think we had a shot on target. We had one decent chance for Roof when Ayling got in behind outright, and Roof's goal on it. He didn't have a great game, Roof, actually, but if you score winner in a 1-0 and you've played up front on your own, it's a decent enough performance, really.
We heard that enough times last season. Him not playing brilliantly, but again, at times the service to him wasn't great. But fair play to him. I think he has showed in the last year anyway that he's he knows how to find the back of the net. Yeah.
The main takeaways from today was at half time he took off Vieira and Saiz for Click and Baker, and Click and Baker were far better. Like Saiz just couldn't really get on the ball, and Vieira just gave the ball away constantly. He did get better as the half went on, but the first 15 minutes he was just shocking, to be honest. But I'm a bit worried about Baker because Baker got subbed again in the 86th minute, having come on at half time for Shackleton. So I would assume that there's some sort of injury there, and with Forshaw already being out,
we'll have to give Luke Murphy a squad number.
Yeah. And the main thing out of today was this was the first, for the most part in pre-season, it's been 4 at back and a midfielder dropping in. Whereas today was the first time where I could properly say, no, this was definitely that 3-3-1-3. There's no way around it. Calvin Phillips played as the central centre-back all game, and he played really well.
That's good to see. I've heard he's looked a bit more aggressive in these games when he's played.
Yeah, I mean, he did get a booking in a friendly because when Las Palmas were on counter-attack, he came bolted out of defence and did someone in centre circle.
Nice, it's good. Just to get behind that.
So it's still him. But yeah, he did well at centre-back, and it looks like that could be his role this season more often than not.
He's a decent-sized lad. Definitely bigger than Vieira anyway. I could see why Bielsa would want him there.
Yeah, the couple of times they used Vieira in defence, he didn't look comfortable at all through pre-season.
No, it's a shame. I think he'll probably settle into more. I don't know actually with how you say Click's been playing, but I probably see him more as the defensive midfielder.
Yeah. So, there's been a few... Some youngsters have done really well out of pre-season. Like, as we said, Shackleton and Clark, they've both looked really well. I think Edmondson has as well. I think he did enough to... He'll be in the first team. He won't be starting, but he'll be in first team. And I genuinely think Click will start against Stoke.
I was going to ask if Edmondson has aged at all over the summer.
No, he still looks 26.
I wasn't sure if it was going to be like over the course of... Jeez, he's 35 now.
Like, you thinking he might go a bit Graham Kavanagh?
And still, I've been showing people his picture over here, like some of the coaches I work with, and it's like, 24, 25, like, no, No, he's not allowed to drink yet.
Yeah. And not just in America by your stupid rules.
By our very relaxed English rules.
Yeah. Well, we'll get onto the transfers. I'll mention now, by the way, that this podcast won't be as long as it was originally going to be. We're going to do all his predictions and stuff next weekend. We're going to record it on the Saturday. Obviously, Leeds play the Sunday.
Come on, Sunderland.
So it'll probably actually come out after the Stoke game. But we are recording it before the Stoke game. We'll just have to see. That gives them maximum amount of time to get transfers in, and also it just means we have the time because work schedules and an 8-hour time difference is being a bit of a pain at the minute.
Sorry, everyone. That's on me.
Yeah, but yeah, the transfers out. We did actually two of these we mentioned before the end of last season, actually, on the Bielsa one. But Romario Vieira went, and he was one at freeze, but he popped up on trial at Donny Rovers the other day, so I thought it was worth mentioning.
I hadn't seen that, but
now that we're dying for midfield players that can play centre back, and he played there loads for under 23s, he's probably a bit annoyed.
Yeah, I think he's probably not spent that. Has he been out on loan while he's been with us?
I don't think he has. I think he hasn't. He just played some under 23 football and then went. To be honest, once we actually get some players in, it'll be fine because I don't think he was ever good enough for this level.
No, I was thinking it's probably going to do him good if he ends up with someone like Doncaster or at that level where he's actually going to get some game time and competitive game time anyway.
Yeah. Next on the list, Marcus Antonson's gone to Malmo.
He's gone home.
Yeah, undisclosed fee. Yeah, good luck to him, but that was never going to go anywhere, was it? Anymore. I don't think he was terrible.
No, I don't think he was ever designed to play as a lone striker.
No.
I don't think it was ever going to work. And unfortunately, he kind of had to contend with one Chris Wood having the season, his best season, and then shift in formation to one up front. And yeah, he was never going to get back in.
Yeah. Pavel Kubicki gone to Molde on loan, but the loan's only till January.
I mean, there's something there. But he's 24, 25 now, and I don't know. Clearly, if again we don't exactly have an abundance of wingers, so the fact he's been allowed to go out on loan kind of probably speaks to where his standing is in the squad at the moment. And again, if he is here by the start of next season, I would be surprised.
If he's here in February, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
We released Andy Lonergan. Fine.
Yeah, I mean, he almost went to Sunderland anyway in January, so
yeah.
And I think all the transfer rumours going around about a new goalkeeper kind of, and his days were numbered anyway. Has he ended up anywhere?
Not as of yet.
Fair play. I'm sure he'll end up at a club. There's always someone who needs a backup keeper.
Yeah. Madga Gomez has gone to Sochaux. We mentioned that last time. It's fine. Tyler Denton, season-long loan at Peterborough.
Good. Again, I kind of know from how you feel about him anyway that he probably isn't destined for our first team, but at least he's getting more game time anyway, and gives him more time to hopefully reach his potential.
Yeah.
He's the one thing he's got a bit of pace about him. He'd quite like to get forward. I don't know if that would be something that Bielsa would look at and think, okay, if he can kind of step it up a gear, then he might have a place in the squad.
Yeah, I think this is the big season for him. This is like make or break season. Like he'll still have a career either way, but I think this will decide whether he ends up, High League One or Championship, or ends up playing in Conference.
Yeah. I hope him. He's from the academy. You always want them to come into the team.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed.
J. Roy Grott, VVV Venlo, season-long loan. He's been banging him in pre-season.
He's finally got his loan.
Yeah.
Good. Again, good. I hope he gets some more. He gets plenty of games in. I'm guessing if you're going out on loan to Venlo, you're probably not going there to be the backup striker.
Yeah, no, I think he's expected to be first choice, and I have seen it coming up on Twitter a lot that he's scored a fair few, but they've been in like 12-0 wins against 5th division teams, so we don't know. Yeah,
He needs that competitive game time. That it was quite frustrating last season, the amount of times he was coming on with 10 minutes left, or just not playing, and then not playing for the under 23s all that often. So it'll be good for him to get some regular first team football under his belt.
Yeah. There's a bit of that. One of the ones that's gone back out, Liam Kitching's gone back to Harrogate Town, having got promoted with them last season, but he signed a new 3-year deal before he went.
That's an interesting. It's strange for him to get a 3-year deal and then go to Harrogate. I would have expected to see some level of progression, and maybe that's what they're eyeing in January. But they clearly see something in him to give him a 3-year deal.
Yeah, he's not someone I've really seen enough of. I have heard good things from people who have, but
I believe he played in the friendly win against Bradford for them.
Yeah, that was weird. That one, I did actually text a friend of the podcast, Mark Young, about that. They had a very young side out, did Bradford, because they were like 6-0 up at half time, weren't they?
Yeah, it was. That was the one friend. I think it's the one pre-season friendly he was going to, and he was just like, I don't know any of these players. This is awful.
Yeah. I'll come to that one last because it's one at one. There's two that I don't really agree with. One that I definitely do agree with. Wiedwald's gone to Eintracht Frankfurt.
Ah, good.
Yeah. Bye.
I will say, in Call It Vain, I do like listening to my own voice. I was listening to a couple of old episodes of the podcast and listening to us defending Wiedwald, especially after he'd just come back in for the Barnsley game.
Yeah.
Saying to give him a chance, and you just think, oh, how naive we were.
Yeah, well, we gave him a chance, and then he screwed it up like 4 more times.
So, good. He's back in Germany. He won't be offending us. Got another goalkeeper in. It looks like we're actually going to have some sort of competition for the 2 goalkeepers as well.
Yeah, it looks like it. Another one that's gone out, Malik Wilkes, has gone to Donny Rovers. That's till January as well.
Are they a Rovers League 1 or League 2?
2, I think.
Off the top, I thought they were League 2. But
I think they are, but to be honest, I'm not 100%. To be honest, I haven't had my proper look through yet. With regards to all of his predictions next that we're doing in the next podcast.
Yeah. Either way, though, again, another chance for him to get some football. I know he's.
Oh, we're both wrong. It's League 1.
Oh, they did go off. Well, that's not a bad move then for Malik Wilkes.
Yeah, it's a good move. But
it's not a bad move for Mario Vieira ends up with them.
No, that's the. Then we come to the 2 that I'm really not sure I agree with. I'll do this. I'll do him last because I think most people don't agree with this one. But first one, Paddy O'Connor to Blackpool for the season. If we'd signed 2 centre backs, I'd be fine with that. But at the minute, I don't think we've got the depth. He'd definitely be in our first team squad.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you kind of have Janssen and Cooper as your kind of first choice centre backs now, which is, I think we were saying last season that it's not entirely great that Cooper's still one of the first choice centre backs, but I kind of live with that. But yeah, there's been hasn't even really been a hint of a signing for central defenders over the last couple of weeks. And then like you say, you've been looking at Vieira and Phillips playing there. I think did Click play at centre back for one of the games as well?
Click had a game at centre back, and Berardi has played there a fair bit, including today. It was pretty solid there today, to be honest.
Berardi's it's okay. You just kind of worry for crosses, not having him in the penalty area. But it's interesting that our lack of centre backs to send him out. I know a lot of Leeds fans when he went to Blackpool were saying that's a great signing for them.
Yeah.
I think it is, and on the flip side again, it's someone getting what I assume will probably be a season of first team football, competitive games, as opposed to kind of making sporadic appearances here or there. But at the same time, you don't know what's going to happen injury wise. You always know Janssen might always go down. Like you say, if we lose either either Janssen or Cooper, then we do start looking very short at centre back all of a sudden.
Yeah. And the other one, sent back to Fleetwood, Louis Coyle, till January.
Under new management, Fleetwood as well.
Yeah, under Joey Barton.
Yeah, very interesting to see him go back out. Had rave reviews last season from them. And again, with the rotation of players that we'll probably need playing this system, it's surprising that he's not going to be around the squad, because I thought he would be looking at getting a lot of football this season. Whereas, especially even if with the centre backs, you could always try and rest Ayling a little bit, move him into the centre of defence and bring Coyle in. So quite surprising that he's gone back out on loan. They announced that one fairly early on as well.
Yeah, it was one of the earlier ones. And if Nixon from the Suns to be believed, which, his strike rate isn't 100%, but he's right sometimes. He tweeted this morning saying he might have a new teammate in Lawrence de Bock. Again, loan till probably January.
I mean, I'm not entirely against the idea of us trying to get rid of Lawrence de Bock. Again,
I'm very pro the idea of getting rid of Lawrence de Bock in whatever way is necessary.
Yeah, the reports from the couple of games he's played haven't been great through pre-season, so just picking up where he left off.
No, it's like his only good moments were against York. He played centre back and he showed a decent bit of pace to get back in and make a couple of recovery tackles. But one of them, although it got given as a good tackle, was a penalty, and the other one, he was only having to make that run back because he screwed up in the first place.
Is it the Scott Parker logic?
Yeah.
That's a great tackle. He was 5 yards out of position, though.
Yeah, and that's why he had to do it. They haven't gone yet, but Eunan O'Kane, Luke Murphy and Caleb Ekiban have all been with under-23s. And our under-23s, because all the under-23s are in the first team, is actually our under-18s.
I noticed, because none of them have been given squad numbers, Ideguchi hasn't been given a squad number either.
There's a bit of confusion of that because he wasn't, and he isn't on the lists that are in the shop, but he does have a squad number on some of the lists.
Okay.
On some, I think it's 16, some it's blank, and some it has Ideguchi on it.
Okay, that's interesting.
So no one's sure, but I'm not expecting him playing any part outside of maybe that League Cup game against Bolton.
Has he featured at all through pre-season?
Yeah, he has a bit, and he made a couple of snapping tackles, but he hasn't really done much. He didn't look great.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll be someone we're looking to send back out on loan.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he's here in September. Because that's one of the things, although the window shuts on August 9th, you can still get loans, and that includes loans with view to a permanent until the 31st.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of deals will go through in the Championship will go through then. When window shuts and the Premier League teams know what they've got.
Once they've announced their squad.
Yeah, and they know who's spare and who they can afford to send out and stuff like that. So I think that you'll get a lot of players moving to Championship then.
Yeah.
We did mention the under-23, so I'll just say they were meant to have 3 friendlies so far, but the Darlington one got cancelled. They won 1-0 away at Ossett, which I actually watched because it was on that Proper Sport Facebook. Alex Woolerton scored, and they got beat 1-0 yesterday by Scarborough.
Yeah, I think the one thing I saw from that was Lee Sober saying that there was, from some home fans, a chant of "We all hate Leeds scum," which is quite funny from Scarborough Athletic. But
yeah. The under-23s have made 2 signings, actually. One of them isn't on the notes. Leif Davis. Leif? What kind of a name's that? Leif Davis, left back from Morecambe. He's 18, he's coming. And Dimitar Shaitanov, who we were linked with in March, from Levski Sofia. The club haven't announced him, but he played against Ossett. And he's been on Twitter, in the kit and showing all these things. And he made a pretty good save against Ossett, actually.
I think that's the one I've seen where they showed it in slow motion, shot across goal towards the top corner.
On commentary, though, they kept calling him Georgia. because
Okay.
the team sheet they had all the names wrong and all the numbers wrong by the look of it.
Okay.
So it will have been a nightmare for him to commentate on. It's why normally I'm like, oh come on, learn, you know these players, and I didn't say a word about them because I was just like, I know how bad that team sheet is. I can tell.
Yeah. It kind of shows that one, we've got we must have quite a few goalkeepers now in around the squad between the 18s and 23s. It's just off the top of my head, there's Harrison Mayle, Will Huffer, Josh Ray, Miyazek, and now him.
Yeah, and that's without going on to Blackman and Peacock Farrell.
Yeah. Well, we must be looking at maybe one or two of them going out on loan.
Yeah, I still. Well, actually, we'll come on to that in a sec because we know that. Now we get to come on to the proper ins. First of all, Lewis Baker. He is highly rated at Chelsea because before he went on loan to Middlesbrough last season. Before that, they gave him a new 5-year deal.
Wow.
So they do like him, and he played 14 games for Middlesbrough last season, which ain't enough. But he made 12 at start of season, and then they got Pulis, and Pulis doesn't like midfielders that are in any way creative, so he just didn't play him.
Looking through Football Manager, filter out players Blair above 7.
Yeah.
Get him out.
From what I've seen of him so far, he's a bit enigmatic. He seems to have all ability, but some of it every now, like when he first came on, the first 5 minutes today, his touch looked awful, and then when he grew into the game a bit and he started, the difference between him and Size when Size wasn't getting on ball, he was dropping in a bit and trying to get into positions to get ball. And when it wasn't working out for Baker just went, right, I'm just going to run, I'm going to put in loads of effort and make shitloads of runs in behind, which stretched the game a bit and gave Hernandez a bit more space.
That's good. It's been impressive because I know very little about Lewis Baker.
Yeah.
I've seen very little of him before this.
My main observation of him is that, so he puts in the effort, he loves a shot. Loves a shot. Like nearly Andros Townsend levels of loves a shot. He looks to be, he's taken a few set pieces, mostly shots that have been fairly close, and he's very, very two-footed.
That's good.
It was against Guiseley. He had a couple of shots from free kicks that were right-footed, but when they were on that side, he took corners left-footed.
Oh wow! I think it's a good trait for a number 10 to have, just to kind of make you play a little bit less predictable.
Yeah.
So, if you're fairly central, it's quite nice to have that option where the defender's not going to be looking at you going, I know you're going to try and get this onto your right. So, if we've got something like that between him, Hernandez, and Saiz, it's going to be quite interesting to see how we line up with that attacking midfield 3 and Alioski there as well. It's looking quite strong. It is kind of now defensively, I'm more concerned.
Yeah, that's definitely where the way is. To see who'll be playing in front of potentially Jamal Blackman, who we've also signed another season-long loan, also from Chelsea. Played 33 times for Sheffield United last season, but it wasn't because he had a couple of injuries, and then he got sent off towards the end of the season, and because he was only on loan, they played that Simon Morth at last few. Obviously, I didn't see loads of him. My main memory of him is that wonder save he made from Janssen at Bramall Lane.
I think the most I saw of him was in the Sheffield derby, and he made some very good saves in that game as well.
Was that the one that was 4-2?
I think it was the one at the start of the season, which I believe it might have been 0-0.
Ah, right. It must have been the other game.
Yeah. But yeah, he made some good saves in that. He looked impressive.
Yeah, I was surprised that they picked Peacock Farrell ahead of Blackman for this friendly, to be honest, because I thought this one would be the closest representation of that it could do to what we play against Stoke. And I've assumed the whole time that Blackman is going to be first choice, just because I don't know why else he'd come.
It'd be interesting because we gave Peacock Farrell the number 1 shirt, and I know squad numbers don't mean nearly as much as they used to. It does kind of feel like, for me, we've got 2 goalkeepers of probably similar ability who I feel it might actually be more competitive this season to play in goal, and that it just been a case of you're the first choice, you're the backup.
Yeah, instead of 44 and 2, it might be 30 and 15.
Yeah.
And the one thing is, though, that if if they have brought Blackman in to be first choice, definitely,
Yeah.
then I wouldn't mind us sending Peacock Farrell on loan somewhere to play first team all season and just have Miyazek or someone as backup.
Yeah, again, just giving him a squad number though does make me think that's.
Oh, I don't think that's going to happen, but
yeah, I think that's what we all want is, especially if Blackman's only going to be coming in for the year, at least keep Peacock Farrell playing. Because outside of that short, he had the spell with us last season and the very brief loan spell at York. But outside of that, he's really not had a lot of competitive football yet.
no. But if he's going to split it so, they both get plenty of games, then fine. If it was you, though, which one would be your first choice?
I'd probably be a little bit biased. I'd probably go for Bailey Peacock Farrell. From the stuff I've seen of Bailey Peacock Farrell, I think he looks very composed. Not afraid to, shout his defence. And honestly, I think despite our poor record towards the end of last season, he looked. I would say he probably looked championship quality.
Yeah.
And having just seen more of him than Blackman, I would probably have Peacock Farrell in ahead of him.
Yeah, you see, I do think that it will be Blackman, but from the two of them in pre-season, I really don't think there's out between them. I would say Blackman's slightly better at coming for crosses just because he's so massive.
He's a big lad, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big bloke.
Quite. It's that thing now you're kind of getting used to as well, is the players being a lot more slender.
Yeah.
He's massive, but he's very thin. I noticed it while watching the World Cup when you look at David De Gea and you just think of the build of like Nigel Martyn or Paul Robinson, who were comparative. At no point did I ever think they were. Well, Paul Robinson,
that one day Ramos bit.
Yeah, but yeah, Nigel Martyn was never big, massive or overweight, but he was quite built. Whereas you look at goalkeepers now, very slender.
Yeah.
So not the worst thing after watching a season of VFL not catching crosses. To have someone who you feel more comfortable doing it.
Yeah. Right, so on to what we would call our marquee signing so far, which I honestly cannot believe we've signed this guy because he was up there for one of my players at year last season. Barry Douglas from Wolves. Left wing back, 3 million, apparently rising up to about 5 with add-ons. 3-year deal. We banged on about how good he was for Wolves last season.
I'm pretty sure at one point, I think before the first Wolves game, we just went, he's going to score a free kick, and he did.
Yeah, playing left wing back, 5 goals and 14 assists last season. On average, contributed to a goal once every 178 minutes. So slightly better than 1 in 2 for a left wing back.
That's not bad.
Yeah, brilliant going forward, great set pieces. He's just a really, really good player. One that I'd have considered a completely unrealistic target going in. Wolves fans are absolutely furious. Not at him, at the club.
Yeah, they must have someone lined up.
Well, they've already brought one in. They've got Johnny on loan from Atletico Madrid, who's a left back who played a lot for Celta Vigo.
I cannot take that name seriously.
Yeah, it's like Johnny Otto or something, but
just Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it? I see he was down to, this was the last year of his contract, and
yeah, that's why the fee was as little as it was. Which, even with a year left on his contract, I still think it sounds really cheap.
You'd think as well there'd be a number of clubs interested in him, which would kind of bring the fee up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a belting signing for us because I know, again, you saw today Stuart Dallas playing as the left wing back, and it'd be kind of nice to have Douglas in there, which would free Dallas up to be used more in a more attacking sense. Because one of the things I felt sorry for Dallas about last season was the amount of times he ended up at left full back towards the end of the season. I'm quite a fan of Stuart Dallas on, having him on the left wing and cutting inside. So at least that kind of will take him out of there, and he is a fully qualified first choice left wing back who I think slots perfectly into Bielsa's setup.
Yeah, it does limit Tom Pearce's first team opportunities a little bit. But when the players, if we just brought in someone who was slightly better, like a decent player, and we were leaving Pearce on bench, I'd be annoyed. But because we're bringing in someone who I think is really good, it's fair enough.
Yeah, he's it's a fantastic signing. He's the player I'm kind of disappointed we weren't signing players like him 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But at least we're getting him in before the first game anyway.
Yeah. The thing often though with players like that is they're not available until later in the window.
Yeah, I suppose that's kind of the knock-on effect, isn't it? If you get the clubs with the money will spend their money to get their players in, and then as time goes on, more it kind of that knock-on effect of, right, we've got our new left back in, so Barry Douglas is now available, which kind of free up other players and trickles down.
Yeah. Then there's the forward saga. First of all, Matej Vydra.
It's been going on a while now.
It's been going on a while. The fee has been pretty much agreed that it was 11 million, but apparently he wants like 50 odd grand a week. And then this you might not have even seen. About an hour and a half ago.
No.
Yeah, basically. Well, we'll talk about the other one as well. Bid accepted for Patrick Bamford. £7 million rising to 10. Back 1 in 3 goal record. You know, it's not amazing, but he has been better than that at times. He's still only 24. He's a bit more, and he's also a bit more of a number 9 than Vydra is. Basically, having been on holiday about an hour and a half ago, Phil Hay finally tweeted out, and he said, "Yeah, Bamford's having his medical tomorrow, and basically as far as he's concerned, Vydra's done. We're not getting him anymore."
I mean, Vydra's a good player, but you won 50 grand a week, and you look at the other players we have in the squad as well. It's not the worst thing. I think it'd be very nice if we could have Vydra in, but I would much rather us have an out-and-out striker up there and spend the money that way.
Yeah. Well, the Bielsa podcast that we did, at the time it wasn't Bamford. We were talking about Abel Hernandez. And we were talking about who we'd rather have. And I said I'd rather have Hernandez than Vydra because I still think that the more important thing is we need a number 9.
Yeah.
And that still goes for this. And the other thing is, it's basically, would you rather have Barry Douglas and Vydra? Or would you rather have Barry Douglas, Patrick Bamford, and another player? Because the fee's 3 million less and his wages are going to be 15-20 grand a week less.
Yeah, if we can direct that towards a new centre-back, it'd be great.
The thing is, though, it does sound like, from like what Phil Hay has been saying, that it's still not going to be a centre-back. Like, it's going to be a winger.
I suppose we probably need another winger. But, looking at our squad, we are crying out for a new centre-back.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I cannot believe that it's not top at list, to be honest, now. A centre-forward and a centre-back should be top at list.
I think it speaks very much of Bielsa's attacking policy of just, no, let's just direct the money to attacking players who are going to get us goals.
Yeah. Because I believe he's still available for a couple of £1 million, if they're wanting a winger, another attacking mid, I still think Marcus Maddison from Peterborough's the one to get.
Yeah. And again, I do hope we are in for him anyway. There was obviously the talk of him going to Derby for, what was it, about 2 million?
Yeah, and they've already signed Jack Marriott as well.
Yeah.
Of Derby. So I'm wondering where Vydra's going to go, because he must be going to go somewhere, because they need to get rid of him.
Yeah, they're in the same financial position as Aston Villa were at the end of the season. I know they've got the new owners now.
It ain't quite as bad as Villa's. Well,
yeah. Poor Steve Bruce has got to deal with. Apparently, I heard that Thierry Henry had spoken to Steve Bruce. A really odd situation there.
Yeah. The only centre-back I've seen is even slightly linked to was there was a bit in South American press about Diego Polenta, who is a Uruguayan. He plays for Nacional in their league, but he played in Italy for like 8 years. He's been in squad a few times for Uruguay, but he's never got a cap. But he has got an Italian passport, so he wouldn't need a work permit. But that's the only thing I've really seen linked. And off the top of my head, the only freebie I can think of, like that would be cheap and maybe worth looking at on a trial basis or something, is, you know, Philip Walshide that was at Stoke.
Yeah.
I think he's on a free. I just keep thinking, I cannot believe that we didn't sign Carl Bartley.
It seems ridiculous now that we didn't go in for him at all. Just someone that is proven at this level. I'm sorry, I was just trying to remember who one of the centre backs was that we had during that first full Chileno season that we had in on loan. Never really played.
Dario Del Fabro?
That's the one. I thought it was Brian Montenegro.
No, he was
Strike.
he was the striker.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. It's very funny seeing a picture of him in a West Ham shirt.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out where they are. Where's Dario Del Fabro?
Yeah, one of the things I would say is that so obviously there's been a load of players gone out. We bought 3 in, and it sounds like Bamford's coming in as well. You were pretty confident that this was going to work on the last Bielsa podcast that we did. How confident are you now?
It's not great. It's not the transfer window I was hoping for. But what have we got left? What is it? The 9th of August. So we've got just over a week.
Yeah.
Nearly 2 weeks. A week and a half.
Yeah.
I would say we are missing probably just 2 players. I think we are screaming out for a centre back, and possibly a winger. That is thinking that we are assuming that Bamford will be signing.
Yeah.
Looking at the best possible starting 11, I would say it looks like a decent team. So I would say I'm going to say I remain confident in Bielsa and the project.
Yeah. I'm a bit nervy about it because it's like we were saying. I mean, if we have a bad start, we can't panic, and if we have a good start, we can't go.
You say we can't panic, but we will.
Yeah. You were saying like the strongest 11. Now we can't. We probably, by the look of it, it looks as if Forshaw won't be fit for that game.
Yeah.
But like going into that game against Stoke, what do you reckon? I mean, we'll probably talk about this more again next weekend, just before the Stoke game. But what sort of thing do you reckon the team will be at minute?
Assume he's going to stick with the formation now. Probably looking at Janssen, Phillips, Cooper as the centre backs.
Yeah.
Ayling and Douglas as your wing backs. Click as the central midfielder. And do you think Bamford would be ready for that game? If he's in at that point,
I would think probably.
I think it'd be close.
So like, that's your 3-3. So one, if Bamford was playing central striker,
yeah,
you'd just have then like.
I think it's either Baker or Saiz.
Yeah, on current form, I'd probably go Baker.
Yeah, and
then probably like Hernandez playing. Probably, you see, Alioski hasn't been that great either.
I imagine it probably still would be Alioski.
Yeah.
I'd probably go Bamford, Alioski, Hernandez.
Yeah, as the 3 up front.
Yeah. And I don't think the team's going to be a million miles off that if there are any changes to it.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, obviously, we haven't gone as long as we could have because we figured we were better off splitting it into 2. Because we said for his predictions this year, we're going to go a lot bigger and do like promotion and relegation from all 4 leagues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So actually, if that reminds me, I'll have to come up with a list of them and email you it beforehand.
Yeah, it's. I mean, after the roaring success of our predictions from last season, this can only go well.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, I'm knackered and need to order some food. So that'll.
I've not had breakfast yet, so we're in a similar position there.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll do us for episode 26 at Mighty Whites Podcast. We're at Mighty Whites Pod on Twitter. The stuff we write goes up on Through It All Together, which is at THRU It All LUFC. We've got a few new writers who've been doing some good stuff as well there, so it's worth keeping an eye on. We should be back. We'll be recording it Saturday, the day before the Stoke game, so unfortunately it probably won't come out till a day or 2 after. Because we'll do it Saturday late on, and obviously on the Sunday we'll be busy because Leeds are playing.
We'll just pre-record a number of different predictions for the Stoke game, and then
just
get Dom to edit the right ones in.
yeah, we'll just say, well, what a great 2-0, 3-0. Yeah, but yeah,
I think that Barry Douglas had a tremendous game.
yeah. You see, now I hear two things. Now I hear, Atlanta Falcons, and I also hear just bad video games. Yes. Oh my God, The Rock is.
What an incredible maneuver.
The incredible maneuver. That's what we're going to need some of. Right. Anyway, that'll do us, and we'll speak to you all in about a week. I've been Jack. See ya.
And I've been KC. See you later.
All right. Cool. Cheers. Bye.